Hello everyone! In today's video we show you how easy it is to create a OPC UA HMI with Peakboard. In our production we have 3 different production lines. Each of them are producing different parts. One part has to pass this sensor if it's okay or this sensor if it's not okay. And for this we've created a HMI, which you can see here, which is showing how many parts are created, how many of them are okay and how many are not okay. And how this works, you see now.
I'm going to start by choosing a background color of the screen and setting up other graphical elements like the header, logo, time, and date. To do that, I'll set a time data source that I'm going to connect to the respective text boxes. Next, I'm going to create the tiles that we'll be using later to display the information for each of the production lines. Here, I'm going to insert a heading and a few text boxes. The current values and target values will be displayed next to these. In order to display the target value even more clearly, I'm also going to put in a progress bar that I'm going to connect to the respective values later on. As we mentioned earlier, the current values are going to be sourced from the OPC UA. For the target values, I'm using an Excel table that I prepared ahead of time. This data would normally be sourced from an ERP system. We've shown how to connect an ERP system to your visualization in another video. Next, I'm going to create the OPC UA data source. For that, I'm going to go to Add Data Source under Data and then select OPC UA. Now, I'm first going to name the data source and then create my OPC UA certificate. Here, we can enter as much information as is necessary to differentiate the certificate. After I've created my certificate, I need to enter my server URL. After that, we can go ahead and let the endpoints load automatically. An authentication method can be entered under Authentication in case your OPC UA server is expecting one. In our case, we don't need one, so we're going to leave it as anonymous. After I've added the certificate of the server to my trusted certificates, I'll be able to confirm whether we can connect the server. To do that, I'm just going to click on Connect, and we get Connection Successful as a response. Once I'm connected to my OPC UA server, I can get started with setting up my subscriptions. For that, I'm just going to click on Manage Subscriptions and select everything that I want to subscribe to from the list. Here, I'm going to pick the Reflector 2 as well as the NOK reflectors from lines 1, 2, and 3. These each represent the light barriers that are mounted along conveyor belts carrying either OK or not OK parts. When I've added these subscriptions, I can set individual attributes such as title, the namespace, or another identifier by double-clicking on it. The title is the name by which the item is referred to in the Peakboard designer. Since we're going to need that later on when we're scripting, I'm going to change it to something that's a bit more manageable. Now I'm going to repeat this process for each subscription. Next, I'm going to set up a list that we're going to use to hold the numbers of the OK and not OK parts. Here, I'll make a column that will show the individual lines and a column each for OK and NOK. While I'm doing this, I'll make sure to properly adjust the data type so that the amount of parts is displayed as a number value. Now, I'll be able to populate this list by using a script that will count the number of parts that pass the light barrier. To do that, I'm going to create a refreshed script for the OPC UA data source. The first thing this script will do is test whether the value of the respective light barrier has changed. We can do that by using e.isTitleRefreshed along with the name of the relevant subscription. This will return a Boolean value for us. If the light barrier's value has changed and the new value is false, we want to add one part to the count. That's because the light barrier is set to true by default and switches to false when a part passes through. Now I'm going to repeat this process for all of the light barriers and all of the production lines. Here, I just need to adjust the names of the subscriptions and the rows in the list. And before you know it, we've created a script that translates the statuses of our light barriers to a useful count. Now we can connect these values with the appropriate controls. I'll start with the current value. The target value will be sourced from my Excel sheet. I'll repeat the same process then for the progress bar. Next, we'll create a data flow where we'll swap the rows and columns of my list, and once again adjust the data type. We need to do this because later on, we want to be able to show the relationship between OK and NOK parts in a donut chart, which requires us to use this format. To calculate the amount of OK parts as a percentage, I'm going to have to create a second data flow. Here, I'll add a new column in which I'm going to divide the number of OK parts by the total number of parts that were produced. Now I'm going to add some demo data into the list to test whether our scripts work and to make sure that there are some values to see in the donut chart. Then we can create the chart. To do that, I'll create a chart control and select donut chart. Then I'll connect that to the data flow and adjust the width of the donut chart along with the colors of the two values. Additionally, I'll insert a key for clarification. To see what my chart looks like on a dark background, such as the one in this visualization, I can select Simulate Dark Background. When I'm done with the graphical elements, I can add in the specific percentage values. For that, I'll create a text box and adjust the format to show a percentage without any decimal values. Now I can just copy the finished design for the other two lines and adjust the respective values of the controls for each of them. Last, I'll add in some conditional formatting, which will color the background of the relevant tile red if the percentage value of OK parts for the production line should fall under 90%. I'll once again copy that for the other production lines and then adjust the value as needed. That's it for our visualization today. In the preview, you can see how the OK and not OK parts are counted and how the controls adjust accordingly. Thanks very much for watching. If you like our video today, please leave us a thumbs up and click on subscribe. If you have any questions about the video or about OPC UA, just leave us a comment below. Till next time.